Here we are back for another fantastic special event here that we have tonight on the Racers Elite Network. I am your host for this second Saturday in a row. Joining me is Russ Martin in the booth. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, John. A little tired. You know, it's closing in on my bedtime on any normal day. But we're here at Talladega tonight, and sun's out, trucks around the track, and we're ready to do some racing, bud.
Yes, we are, and this one's going to be pretty spectacular, just like you said. A little bit late at night. On this one, we had to shift times around just a little bit, but we are still here. We are ready to go, and it looks like we are bringing the trucks to Talladega tonight. We're going to have, looks like about 74 degrees outside is going to be your temperature tonight. You can see we're going to be on that Dega 2.65 mile track tonight. So, Russ, what are we looking for as we bring the trucks here to this big plate track where it's just wide open?
I think patience has a lot to do with it. You know, I mean, we got 70 laps here tonight at Talladega. It's a big drafting track, and you can't win it on the first lap, but you can sure lose it. And so I think patience comes into play a lot at these restrictor plate tracks.
Yeah, and as we've got a couple more minutes left in qualifying, it looks like we've got a couple of new faces here tonight that we have not yet seen. So going to be interesting to see how they work well together. I think we certainly see two teammates that are taking the field tonight that we have not seen before, Russ. So I think that's going to drive a little bit of excitement to it as well. A little bit smaller field than what we normally have here on a Saturday night. So again, I think we're going to see a lot of strategy come into play. And Russ, I think if you're anything like me, it is no tires. It is just gas and go all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to waste that time on pit road taking tires when everybody else is just taking fuel and finding yourself outside that draft. You want to stay in that draft as long and as you possibly can. So absolutely, no tires, just fuel.
No tires, just fuel. That's going to be all night long, especially when you're looking for track position. We are going to have 3 chances at a green-white checker tonight, 75 laps on the board. And, these trucks, once you put them together, I think you're going to see, especially with this temperature down to 87 degrees outside, Russ, we might not have some of those overheating issues that we normally have on these things, but I can tell you, just going through some of the Discord that we saw, the B-Class car, the Xfinity car, with some blown motor issues this last week as well. So that's going to be something that we're going to keep an eye out for throughout the rest of this night. And I think if you're the truck that's behind pushing, you want to make sure that you peak to your inside and your outside to make sure that you're keeping that oil temp nice and low.
Yeah, you got to always keep the eye on the oil and water temp for sure. And you can push, but you don't want to do it for too long and risk damaging that engine.
You certainly do not, and that's one of those things that we will keep our eye out for. I believe if you're within that 5 to go, you certainly want to make sure that you're pushing for everything that you're worth. I don't really think that anybody's looking at the oil temp from that part, but I do want to tell you that everybody, we got to make sure too, every time we come to Talladega, the big difference between it and Daytona is really where that start finish line is. So if you can see on the screen, that red line that comes across, you can see that's past the tri-oval coming out of 4, really long front straightaway through that tri-oval, Russ, and that's where we get a lot of that great finish racing here at Talladega, is just coming across there, because you still have quite a bit of track to go before you cross that start finish line.
Yeah, you're at Daytona and you're coming through that tri-oval for the line. Here, if you lift in the tri-oval, you're losing the race, because the finish line is about 500 yards past that. And there's still plenty of time between the tri-oval and the start finish line. I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise to see these guys go 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide coming across the line at the end of this thing.
Yeah,
it's quite possible.
I think to your point, you can never count yourself out, especially on the exit of 4. A lot of the times, at Daytona, you're going to see a lot of those moves on the exit of 4. If you do not make that move before then, you could find yourself second, third, or even further back in the field. But here at Dega, even if you come out just a little bit behind, you got plenty of time to catch up and make that move. And that's what we're going to do again as we run down everything that we've got tonight. We do know that this will not be a points race. This is, again, just a special event that we have that really happens all the time here at Racers Elite Network. And if you want to get in on the action, you can certainly hop onto our Facebook page at Racers Elite, and then we do have a website at racerselite.com. All right, Russ. So we are going to get ourselves here, as it looks like we do have all of our drivers that are going to take a qualifying lap. They are now qualified. So we want to see if we can show that here on the board. And as they have a 5-minute warm-up time, qualifying results is going to be Greg McConey is going to sit on your pole tonight with a 54.934. Honeycutt's going to be second. Alex Gates is in third. Dale's going to be in fourth. Truth in fifth. Trevor Woodward is going to be sixth. Andrew Teft is going to take the seventh spot. Frank is going to be in eighth. Cole in ninth. And then J.D. Larson in 10th.
Yeah, Kirby Wainscott was the last driver to actually lay a qualifying lap, so he's going to start P11. Then Kensley Smith, Terry Fennell, and Stephen Douglas Hines is going to round out the 14 truck field we have here tonight.
All right, so there you have it, folks. It looks like they're going to take a 5-minute warm-up, and then we're going to get ourselves going. So let's see if we can catch some of the action here that's out on track with us now. And it does look like we've got a few drivers that are out here. Let's see if we can get a hold of Mr. Alex Gates. And again, you can see him really quick. Russ right off of the bat, pushing hard. You can see Brandon Honeycutt there on the outside pushing that 2 truck. So 2x2, you're going to see that a lot. Talladega is great for three-lane racing, and you could see that throughout the night. But you can expect that these trucks are certainly going to shift around and move quite a bit as they come through, these apexes and the exit of these turns. I find that the truck seems to move around a little bit more than even the next gen does.
Yeah, absolutely. These things can get loose on you really quick, especially in a draft. And these guys have had, a 2-hour practice session leading up to qualifying, and now they've got another 5 minutes. Maybe right now is maybe the best time to see how hard and how long you can push somebody in front of you, and really watching that oil and water temperature, because now that we're as close as we're going to get to race conditions, track temp wise and air temp wise, you might get a better idea as to what your truck can and can't do right now in these 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good thought, and you are right. These drivers here are just testing and seeing whatever they have. They know where they're going to reset and get a new truck, so they're pushing for everything they have. I did want to hop on board just so that you can see really how tight that racing is going to be all night long in that draft. As you can see, you're going to have runs, and then you're going to get pulled back a little bit. So this is obviously a game of runs. As the driver, you can see of this 9 truck, really trying to hug that yellow line, be predictable for the driver behind you so that he can give you a good push. And always, just like that 2 truck is doing, if you're going to take a warm-up lap, Rush, you need to check that pit road entry, because that is going to be key tonight as well.
Absolutely. We've, like you said, only have a 14 truck field here tonight, so we're anticipating some long green flag runs maybe. So, green flag runs come green flag pit stops. So you want to make sure you work on those entries and not spinning your truck out coming down onto pit road.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we are going to bring you quite a few different looks tonight. As you can see, we've got the battle box down here at the bottom right-hand side. And that's going to show you, for whoever it is that we're spotlighting, like we are for Trevor here, you're going to see that relative of who is in front, who is behind. And that's going to give you a good look at the numbers and the car numbers, truck numbers that you're going to see, as well as we see Kinsley Smith coming out here on that high side. And we know for certain that 13 and that 15 truck are going to try to find each other tonight and work. As you see here in practice, we've decided to see if these trucks can go 4 wide. Yes, we're going to follow them around a little bit. And you see that 77 truck. You just see how much these trucks move in draft. And Brandon with that huge push there on Alex Gates. I believe Alex last Saturday was our biggest mover before he got into some couple of accidents there later on in the race. And really nice looking 6 truck with the Dale Jr. paint job there.
Yeah, it's pretty slick looking. And, like you said, he was up there battling there last week. And, even one of the other nights of the week, he was one of the biggest movers. And I believe it was the Tuesday night league that they run in. So he's had a couple of good strong runs as of late, but it's just, kind of had some bad luck there towards the end of the race. And let's keep an eye on him, see if maybe he can get a breakthrough tonight.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the other series that we have here on Racers Elite as we go through the rest of the night. So you can see here, we've already been down your starting lineup, but we're going to show it to you again. And again, as you go down and you see the truck numbers on the right-hand side, you can see where they're from. The truck numbers, you can see where they start on the grid. And I'm going to see if we can go down and find Mr. Greg McConey. I believe this is going to be one of those faces that we have not seen or I have not seen here in the trucks. We normally call that Tuesday Night Truck League. So glad to have him out tonight. And looks like he is going to start on that front row. And we're going to go try to find his truck now.
Yeah, and then, starting in P8 is Mike Marchese, and he's got that same paint scheme on as what Greg does, so that those guys are going to be looking for each other too on the track, just like Brandon Honeycutt and Kensley Smith will be.
Yeah, I did notice that in the practice. So you do have that 84 truck along with that 12 truck. It looks like they are teammates. Or at the very least, they have the same paint scheme on, and they were working really tight with each other early on. So look for that as we go green. Again, 70 laps as we rack them up here. 14 trucks are going to start this thing. We've got several different camera angles we're going to show you tonight. We've got starter cams. We've got drones. Let's see if we can pop on the drones. We can even go to the scoring pylon and take a look at that, Russ. So we're going to try to bring you as much action as we can throughout this field tonight. Again, 70 laps at Daytona, or at Talladega, I'm sorry. And, fuel is obviously going to come into play. And what you can see, and what I want everybody, folks that are out there watching, to really take note of, is who is out front, and if they keep pushing that truck out front, because it certainly isn't that first lap that you lead. Russ is trying to lead the last one, and you'll see some other trucks push other trucks out front so that they can cut through that air, and that second, third, and fourth place trucks are able to run about 3/4 throttle and save fuel.
Yeah, saving fuel is a big thing at these super speedways. We talk about it anytime we call one of these races, so that lead truck is going to be dumping fuel a little faster than the ones behind them, second, third in line. Can usually save quite a bit of fuel by running back there. So might see some guys try to get back into a line a little bit and save a little bit of fuel, but there's going to be other guys that are going to try to make their charge to the front too.
Yeah, I agree with that, because even if you start in the back, it does not matter, especially on these plate tracks. You can work your way back up to the front, but it's how quick do you want to get there? Do you want to stay in the back? And then obviously, as we normally see, if you can have a breakaway group that really pushes pretty hard and stays out front, you can see two distinct groups that start to get together here. As it looks like we are now, as you can see, through that tri-oval. And you can see that tri-oval right in front of us, Russ. That is quite a ways off of the exit of 4. As you can see, we're waiting, and we don't even see those trucks in. So that's the fight that they're going to have to cross this start-finish line, is now you can start to see them come in the picture. 70 laps, Saturday night special at Talladega. Here we go, and we're dropping the green flag.
Greg McConey looks like he gets off to a pretty good start. See if Brandon's gonna jump down in behind him. So pretty good clean start, it looks like, John.
Yeah, it does look like a good start by everybody. I'm just going to watch them try to line up that 9 truck. Dale is going to be stuck to the outside. Right behind him is going to be Trevor in that 6 truck. But yeah, you want to look as everybody starts to try to find their dancing partners. And that 84 machine that is the teammate to that 12 truck, already third in line on that outside.
Yeah, he jumped up there and he's moving his way up there, definitely looking for his teammate up there.
We already have a truck wanting to go 3 wide. Might have got just a little wide on the exit of that turn back near the back of this pack. And again, it looks like that truck's going to start to peek out to the outside. See if we can go back and take a look at this 33 truck of Cole Larson as Kensley Smith now starting to make a move on the outside. We have some moving and shaking early on in this race.
And it's early on, and these guys are already getting jumpy. What's that going to tell us for the end of this thing?
Yeah, I think now, with the smaller fields, that is one of those things that you have to discuss in your chats if you have your teammates there, is being able to link up quick enough where if there is a breakaway, you're in the front pack of that breakaway, because if you let the front 5 or 6 trucks get away, you might not ever catch them again.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then, another factor too is, hey, we got a fast repair, so let's just maybe we'll see how fast we can get to the front, and if something happens, we got that fast repair sitting in the bank.
Yeah, no, that's that is a very good point. As you can see, Brandon was pushing pretty hard on the back end of that 12 truck earlier, and we know we've ran with that truck long enough to know that he is trying to get that 12 truck out in front and try to get that breakaway. And I'm sure he is begging to the 77 machine to help him as that third truck in line.
Yeah, 3 trucks definitely are better than 2, and we seen it. We seen it last week at Daytona. We had a 3-car breakaway, and they gapped by, I believe it was like 15 seconds at one point. So
Yeah,
it's definitely possible for 3 cars, 3 drivers to break away from the rest of the pack as long as they're staying in line and nose to tail.
yep, that's a good point. I do believe that 3-car breakaway was as fast as a 5 or 6-car secondary pack, but they were extremely tight with each other. As you can start to see, I mean, Brandon really putting the push on that 12 truck, even taking that bottom line, starting to make some moves, and you can see him really start to push away. I do believe that Kinsley Smith being on that third line is drawing back that middle line just a little bit, and that's given that lower line just a little bit more momentum. But again, you can see that 77 truck just a little, about a quarter car length off of the back of Brandon. I'm sure Brandon wants him to choke up just a little bit tighter so they can get some better runs down these straightaways.
Yeah, I would factor a guess that Brandon's probably telling him, hey, get up here and give me a shot, man. Let's go. That outside line is moving. Kinsley Smith's looking to make it 3 wide for the lead going into turn 1
Yes,
down there.
They have formed up nice. There are 4 trucks on that third line up against the wall. As now you're going to see the 18 truck start to move left and right as he is getting draft from both sides, and he's moving just a little bit. That 2 truck, certainly he's either trying to poke out and get a little bit of air, or he's really not able to hone in on the back bumper of that 15 truck. But you're right, Russ, that top line is coming.
Yeah, it's the 3x3 by 3x3. That's for the 2 lowly ones in the back there. I mean, these guys they're not holding anything back right now.
Looks like that top line is going to fall back just a little bit as the 9 and the 6 truck kind of go up to do almost a semi-block on the outside. Because you can't look for a whole lot better racing with 6 laps into the 70-lap race on Saturday night. These guys have come to race tonight.
There's no laying back and just riding around for 70 laps for anybody right now. They're looking to do some racing. They're looking to have some fun tonight.
Greg McConey still leading this race. Dale has poked that truck out just a couple of times and crossed the start-finish line ahead of the 12. But Greg's been pretty strong on that low line as that tandem of him and Brandon Honeycutt have really done nicely there. And that 9 and 6 truck have been up in that middle lane most of the night. Looks like Kinsley's now starting to fade back a little bit. Now the 84 truck is going to come up, try to drive that third line a little bit further. As now you're going to see, Russ, when he pulls out that 84 truck, that's going to suck that 9 and 6 back just a little bit.
Yeah, get that side draft, a little slow down action, and that'll pull a line back quicker than you can sometimes expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see now, you've got that 12 truck and that similarly painted 84 truck on that third line pushing. Oh, and he's going to get a little sideways as Kinsley really pushing him through the center of that turn. Both these drivers would like to find their partners. Their partners are both teamed up there on the lower line. It just looks like early on in this race, that third line, just one, doesn't have enough trucks up there to join them, or two, just quite doesn't have the momentum yet to really gain and push out in front of the rest of these lines.
Yeah, you really need some uniformity, I guess you would say, when it comes to trying to form a lineup. And, if you got 5 or 6 trucks on the low side and 4 or 5 in the middle, 2 or 3 on the outside is just not going to cut it. But that outside line's coming. Frank is probably telling Kinsley, come on, push me so I can get up there in front of my teammate.
Oh, it's now we're going to go 4 wide, and we're going to pitch Kinsley into the wall, and here we go.
Sideways.
We're going to go back and take a look at that, as it definitely looked like the 84 truck decided to go 3. Might have gotten a little loose on the back end, and we're just going to back this up the old-fashioned way. And we want to just see what happened.
Out of shape.
Yeah, we want to see.
It looks like he got just a little out of shape there and kind of came down in front of the 9 and tried to come back up, and Kinsley was already there at that point, I think.
I believe this could be just a hard push by Kinsley. As you can see, that truck trying to check up the 84, trying to check up just a little bit. And that kind of gave that 9 at a very odd angle, kind of gets into that left quarter panel. And that kind of puts that 84 truck in no man's land. Kinsley Smith, nowhere to go, trying to get up there, gets checked up, gets hit in the back. Just one of those plate racing deals. And then after that, you can see Kinsley just sideways along for the ride. So as
just one of them deals that you see happen at almost every plate race you go to.
It really does. You're absolutely right. And I want to just kind of ride on board with Kinsley here, and we're going to kind of go full speed and just take a listen. Oh, I just hear engines blowing. At least 2 engines blowing there. Truth Hoke in it. Looks like Andrew Teff was able to survive. The 6 truck is in it as well. Kinsley's truck all tore up. So there goes the fast repair.
About half of the field.
For about half of the field. So there's the fast repair for quite a few of these trucks. So I think maybe we'll see 2 pretty predominant lines coming back out of this caution, but I'm not certain that we're going to see that 3 and 4 wide racing that we were seeing before, as it looks like Alex Gates, one of our best movers last Saturday night, is back up front. He's going to come out of the pit soon. So might have been, I've seen a couple of trucks taking tires. Don't believe Alex took tires. I believe he topped that thing off with fuel and come right back out.
Yeah, I mean, you were involved in that, and you were spinning and, anything like that. You definitely want to take that fresh rubber, because your tires are chewed up from sliding all over this warm asphalt. So not a bad call there, but other than that, fuel only. Don't give me any rubber.
Yeah, I think that's what that 77 truck done, is he went in 35.25 seconds. Coming out second is Dell at 39.75, and everyone else in the 41s and 42s as they were taking tires. So certainly think Alex was just a fuel and go to try to get that track position. And you look at Dell probably doing the same thing, just a little bit slower down the pit road. And then you've got the guys behind them taking tires.
That'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of a difference. I don't really think there will be once we get back going and up to speed. I don't know if there'll be really that much of a difference of the tires, the fresh tires to the old tires, but it's always interesting to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I do think that you might not necessarily see anything in time, but if you're going down the pitch, you're under caution. I don't think it's a harmful thing to take tires. Certainly track position is going to matter here, but I would assume, and you see Dell coming back down, I would assume Dell is coming down to top off now, as now it's time to start crunching some numbers. We have 60 laps left at this race, and everybody is probably on the clutch. As a matter of fact, we should probably go on board, see if these drivers are saving fuel. You can hear this driver just kind of cruising. All drivers just in that 4th gear, barely touching the throttle, trying to save some fuel. And when we go back green, we're going to look at this thing as from a fuel race and think, man, can we make this on one more stop?
Yeah, these guys run a reduced fuel load. I'm not exactly sure how many laps you can get out of a tank of fuel here with this cutback, but I'm sure that everybody's looking at their remaining laps and they're trying to figure out, okay, can we go one more? Do we have to go two more? Do I have to save? Trying to already 11 laps into this 70 lap race, trying to figure out some pit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Dale coming back out of the pits. You can see him on the back end of this group of trucks now. And I would say that that back half of this field is going to be really cautious moving forward for the rest of this race, as they would have burned their fast repairs. And as we look now, that 12 and 84 truck are going to be nose to tail on that outside line. So I believe that's what they are going to be looking for, what they wanted to find earlier on in this race. As you can tell, some of these other drivers really trying to find their dancing partners for the rest of this race and see what they can come up with. Now, that 33 truck that's there on the bottom apron of the track, that was the truck that wanted to sneak out early on in this race and start taking some trucks 3 wide. So we'll see how aggressive he is here on this restart.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are going to start maybe playing it a little safer. Could absolutely be wrong too, but after seeing, I mean, they made it what 8-9 laps before Calamity hit, so still a long way left to go in this race. So maybe just take it easy, ride around for a little while, and try to make it to the end.
Some early race fireworks, Russ, creating a caution there on lap 9, and we are now coming back to the green flag as Alex Gates going to bring them back and into turn 1. The 12 and 84 truck nose to tail, getting a pretty tough start. Brandon Honeycutt still on that bottom line, and look for Brandon to do the same thing to that 77 truck that he was doing to that 12 early on in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime Brandon's up front, he wants to go farther up front. So he's going to do whatever it takes to try to maybe get a breakaway or find himself up here in the front leading this thing. But he's always in the hunt, always wants to be up front, and he's going to push till he gets there.
I do show Truth and Kirby 13th and 14th, both being laps down. They must have went in and tried to get that damage repaired. They might have towed because of that blow. As you see, the 33 truck just making a strong move to the outside, tow because of those two blown engines, and that might have given them a lap down. So look for them to be racing inside of this race. So that's going to be your 55 truck and that 10 truck of Kirby Wainscott. They're going to be vying for your lucky dog. Andrew Teff finding his partner and his teammate in that 10 truck up on that third line on the outside, trying to make that work early on. Kinsley Smith's going to start joining them. So look for those 3 trucks to start making some strong pushes forward.
Guess there was no laying back and just riding. I guess these guys just want to race.
It is Saturday night. It is later than normal. Yes, they are out here to race. They're out here to have some fun. We've got races going on everywhere. We've got practicing for the NASCAR drivers. We got Bathurst. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. These guys are in the mood to mix it up.
It's racing season, baby.
It is racing season. So you see that 33 truck still trying to sneak his nose out, just looking. Might even be looking, Russ, to see if that 50 truck's going to follow him on the outside as well, just to see if he'll go with him if he were to try to make that move. The 2 truck, abandoning that bottom line, is going to sneak up in front of that 12. And he's going to try to go to the front.
Yeah, he just kind of pops up there and says, hey, why don't you guys are teammates. You're obviously working together. Why don't you let me slide in here and you push me to the front?
It does look like Andrew Teft, Kirby, and Kinsley are going to fall back in line and just ride and not push that outside line. As now I say that, the 18 truck and Kinsley trying to get to the outside quick. So Kinsley really willing to mix it up early and often in this race.
Yeah, we've seen that from Kinsley in many, many races that we've called here. He's, regardless as to whether or not he uses his fast repair, he's not afraid to get in there and mix it up, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and it just looks like they cannot pull. The run is not strong enough, or they just cannot light up enough trucks to get that outside working, as Kinsley going to try to solo pass that 18 truck of Larson. 2 by 2 we go. 14 trucks out here on this racetrack. 15 laps in the books. One wreck early on has cleaned out about half of this field where they had to come down and get some fast repairs. We got the other half, the front half of this field, not having to do that. So they've got one to spend and one in their pocket. This third line here, Russ, that 18 and 15 truck, they're trying to become good partners because they keep working this outside line.
Yeah, I mean, even with it just being the 2 trucks, if you get that side draft going and you can slow that middle lane down, it'll still work for you, even though you're just 2 trucks. It'll still make you fast. As we see a third and possibly a 4th truck now trying to jump up there to the outside line.
Yeah, it did look like that middle line was kind of lagging back just a little bit. The 33 truck trying to pick which lane he wants to go down. I think he's going to stick to the high line as now he gets behind the 18 and Kinsley in the 15. Nope, he is going to go back down. And I will tell you, switching back and forth between lines there really slows, honestly, both of those lines down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, you gain one and then you lose one. You gain one and you lose one. So switching lane, you need to, I mean, I get what he's doing. You want to pick that lane that you see is moving, but you really kind of pick a lane and stick with it, because changing lane, you're in that middle lane, the middle lane is moving, and then the outside lane is moving, then you jump up there, and then the middle lane, it's the swapping back and forth is just, that indecisiveness can sometimes be quite dangerous, actually. But
just like regular daily traffic, right? Anytime you get
absolutely
out of the lane, because that other lane's moving, you get into that other lane, and now the lane you just left starts moving. So as you can see, Kinsley Smith jumping down to that bottom line behind the 84 truck. The second he had a chance and kind of left that 18 truck up there to kind of hang out on his own, he was able to sneak back underneath of Kinsley. So no harm, no foul. But I believe that 15 truck trying to find his way up to Honeycutt. And I do think that your other guys, when you look at Teft and Larson and some of those other guys in the back, I believe now they've just kind of settled in, trying to ride this thing out. They're looking at the fuel, seeing what they can do and getting ready for these pit stops that are inevitably going to come here if we stay green.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these restrictor plate tracks are strategy for the entire duration. I mean, you can plan for green flag, and then you have a caution, and then your plans change. It just, you're always strategizing when it comes to these restrictor plate tracks.
Alex Gates playing a great strategy early on under that caution, deciding to just take fuel only, has been able to keep that truck out front, as again, he's got Honeycutt behind him. Now that 6 truck, a lot closer to Honeycutt than the 77 was earlier on that first stint with the 12. And as you can see, they've just really been able to put up a blistering pace that hurts this outside line. This outside line really never able to make a good, strong push up to the front.
A little bit of bobbing and weaving, that'll slow a line down. I mean, we see that out of the 12 truck there from time to time. He keeps sticking that nose out. He could be trying to cool his engine down, but that bobbing and weaving can really hurt a line more than it can help it. So.
Yeah, and when that pushing starts, and you can see really even Honeycutt, and as we do that, we're going to go on board with Honeycutt, because I just want everyone to look and see how blind a driver is. You can see now Brandon getting out, trying to get some air on the nose of that. So he is dealing with a hot condition, but as you can see here, Brandon just not knowing exactly where the turn in for that turn is, because he's so tight up against Gates. That's why you see some of them back off just a little bit, or even move up half a lane. It looks like they're out of shape, Russ, but they're not. They just can't see where they're going.
Absolutely. You cannot see very much when you're right up nose to tail to the truck in front of you.
No. The goal here too, as the truck following, is not to just go up and slam that truck in front of you. It's really to see if you can attach your front bumper to the rear of his bumper. Anytime you have a hard hit, you do run the risk of lifting the rear tires off of the ground and getting that truck upset. But as you can see, Brandon just coming up and really trying to time his contact and then just stay attached as he's doing here all the way down. So believe it or not, that truck is still pushing the truck in front of him, but he's just attached himself to him where it doesn't upset that truck that's running in first.
Yeah, and when you attach yourself to that truck too, you two are actually going a lot faster than what you are if you just go up there and give him a bump, because you're giving him a bump, you're making him faster, and at the same time you're kind of making yourself slower because you're kind of letting off a little bit right as you hit him, so you're not upsetting yourself, and then that costs you time. Where if you can just kind of ease yourself up there, attach yourself, and just push the whole length of the straightaway, you guys are both going to end up going faster.
Yeah, so here we are 22 laps in, and we're going to try to work this outside line again. Now, 18, we've got the 55, what is that, the 55 truck, 33 truck, I'm sorry, of Larson's going to be up there. And the Andrew Teft in that 98, he's got a new paint scheme on that truck with that Bills machine. He's going to come up and join that outside line as well and try once again to get this line rolling.
Yeah, that paint scheme, man, that's a nice looking paint scheme. It was, he's obviously a Bills fan. That was some heartbreak this week, but this past weekend with the Chiefs. But we're not going to talk about that. we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, great scheme on that truck. And it does look like that outside, that third line is putting a little bit of pressure on that middle line as they are now up to that 84 truck. So that tandem, that two truck tandem, doing some work, and now Kinsley Smith is going to join that line. So now it's going to be 3v3 outside versus that inside. If they get Andrew Teft to join that outside line, I do believe they can leave these three trucks behind.
Yeah, I think so too. They've got enough momentum, and they're side drafting from time to time, slowing that middle lane down. That's what's helping to keep their momentum up there, is that little bit of a side draft here and there.
Yeah, really the key, especially in the trucks, is, if you're on that outside line, when you get into this turn, is to take the shorter distance. So even if you're on that outside line, you want to get a lot closer to that two truck so that your distance around this turn is a lot shorter. But when you come out after that side draft, you want to get right up against that wall. That way you can carry that momentum, and it just drives you right past that middle line.
Absolutely.
As you can see now, put the 18 truck in front of the two as that third. This is the first time, Russ, I believe, that we've seen that outside line be able to sneak just ahead of that middle line. But middle line holding tough, that two truck coming back.
Yeah, they've had momentum up there, but just not quite enough. And that outside line is obviously coming in a little bit, so it'd be something to be worth watching here as this race goes on too.
Yeah, it looks like Kinsley Smith is going to drop off and get back into that middle line, and he's going to leave that top line as there's just not a whole lot of movement. How frustrated are you if you're somebody like Kinsley or somebody like Andrew, somebody that wants to make some moves and you just can't get that outside line going, and there's not a whole lot of shuffling on these first two lines? You just kind of have to resign yourself to just riding back here and waiting for that green flag pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating when you want to go and you got nobody to really go with, and eventually, you keep trying, and eventually, yeah, like you said, you just kind of got to settle in and ride it out, and then, hopefully as the race winds down, people get more racy, and then you'll find something then. But settling in is a big thing right now.
Yeah, great news is, folks, that you can see every one of these trucks that are out here on the track in this three-wide pack. You see Kinsley's going to try to outside line again. I do believe if he can get the other truck behind him to come along, 5 is certainly going to be more than 3. And you can see, just looks like now both of those outside lines really pushing hard as the inside line getting drawn back just a little.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a little bit of that separation there between the 13 and the 6 is what hurt that inside line, but the 2 now jumping down in front of that 77, and he's going to take over this lead now.
Yeah, interesting move to run that middle line for so long, and the second he gets a shot, he comes right down in front of them. But again, could be just setting themselves up for some pit stops later on in the run, as now that drops that line back just a little, and now the two similar colored paint scheme, 12 and the 84 truck, are going to take the bottom line, and that's going to leave Kinsley out, as now the 6 truck's going to duck out of that high line to get behind Kinsley.
Yeah, keep an eye on that 15 and that 13. You know, them guys like to work together, and now that the 15 lost those other trucks, I wouldn't be surprised to try to see maybe Brandon Honeycutt move up to this middle lane and try to figure out a way to get there behind that 15.
Yeah, Greg McConey now putting that 12 machine back out in front. He was the leader of our first stint before that caution flag on lap 9. His dancing partner, that 84, Frank, right behind him. The 2 truck behind them, all 3 of those trucks this second stint have been really tight with each other. Kinsley Smith having to take an early, I would assume took an early fast repair. The one and only that he will have is putting that truck out front now. And just like you said, Russ, here comes the 13 putting himself in that second line and trying to get closer and closer to his teammate.
I think he was hoping that 18 would have stayed in line, but that 18 jumped up there. Now they got 2 trucks between the 2 of them. So we'll see if maybe they try to say, hey, Kinsley, why don't you jump to the outside and I'll come up there with you, and we'll just try to find each other up there. There's still plenty of time left, so.
Yeah, that is true. We are still just well short, about 7 laps short of halfway. And it doesn't look like Brandon's going to stick up there. He's going to take that opportunity, dive back down. That 77 truck of Alex. And again, you know, they have to play this kind of chess match, which I would assume that 77 truck intentionally falling back just a little bit here, Russ, because he was out front cutting that air for so long. He could be several laps short. And with only 14 truck drivers out here, the last thing you want to do is be so short on fuel that you are going to have to come in before everybody, and now you don't have a partner when you leave the pits.
Yep. You know, we say it time and time again. You know, you need that draft, and if he if he finds himself in a position where he's going to have to come down, you know, a lap or 2 or 3 before everybody else, that's definitely going to put him at a disadvantage. You want to stay with, you know, you want to have at least 2 other trucks, I would think, you know, come down pit road with you, and if everybody else is good for an additional 2 or 3 laps, you might find yourself in a kind of a sticky situation.
Yep, that is true, and you don't want to do that because you could lose. Really, as now Kinsley Smith's going to duck down and be the first truck on that bottom line. You can lose a couple of seconds a lap out of a draft. You know, when you have a big pack like this that's going to be pushing forward. So now, as we look, the shuffling begins, and you can see that bottom line starting to nose to tail itself, because now you only have 3 trucks, 4 now on this second line, no third line. So it looks like everybody's starting to settle in, thinking about what they're going to do from a pit stop standpoint, getting down on that bottom line so they can get that pit entrance. I'm not certain, Russ, like you said, exactly when they're going to come in, but I think most of our chess moves have been played here for this stint.
Yeah, you know, this stint here, you know, we're approaching, you know, we're on 21 laps on this run, so, you know, I would assume maybe anytime within the next maybe 10 laps or so, maybe we'll start seeing guys coming down pit road, maybe even sooner. Like I said, we're not sure exactly what the fuel run is right now, but, you know, they're 22, 23 laps in on this stint right now. Laps could be winding down before we start seeing trucks break off the pit road.
And just to keep you updated on that lap down drivers of the 10 of Kirby Wamescott and Truth Hoke in that 55. So you can see now Kirby, who was kind of running in the back, just relaxing, now getting up behind his teammate of Andrew Teff, pushing ahead of Truth Hoke. So he would be your lucky dog if the caution were to come out. So just a small little race inside of a race. I'm certain that both Kirby and Truth know. And Truth, if he gets an opportunity, will try to do that again. It looks like the 6 truck and the 18 truck really working well together. 33 truck falling back just a little bit. So it looks like he's going to tuck in and take that low line.
Yeah, you don't really know how many. I mean, we know that the 13 and the 15 like we're in together, you know, and then you've got the 12 and the 84, obviously teammates. But if you don't have a teammate out there, you know, and I say it a lot. Darrell Waltrip used to say it a lot. These plate tracks, it's a co-opetition. You got to find your friends where you can find them. So, you know, you're moving from lane to lane trying to find whoever you can find to work with.
Yeah, it's little small romances like that, isn't it, Russ? Because then sometimes you get your heart broken as you come out, kind of like what the '98 truck did. He knows he's got a partner in that '10 truck, but you think you have a partner for a while and everybody works well together, all until there's some little window that opens and that person leaves you behind and forgets about you really quickly. So you go through several of those throughout the course of a plate race, and I think it's one of the allures that people have. As you can see now, Kirby Wainscott leaving his teammate on that high side and out. So there's a little small heartbreak now as it looks like Kirby's going to get down low. They might be jostling everybody to get back nose to tail and in line.
Yeah, like I said, we're at 33 laps into this race, 25 since the last time they were down pit road. They could be lining up, getting ready to come down and make their next and possible final pit stops of this race. So looks like everybody's working themselves to the bottom right now, and have to see how many more laps we can get out of it.
Yeah, let's talk about pit road entry just a little bit as we still watch these trucks go around. As you can see, the 2 and Brandon Honeycutt of the 13 about a half a truck off of each other. But when you're looking at pit road entry, is you see the 6 truck having to sneak out just a little bit. Brandon Honeycutt doing the same thing. Is they're still trying to mix it up. I'm not sure if we're getting ourselves ready for pit road, as Brandon's going to sneak out and try to make this too wide. But these are pretty long, wide pit roads. So a couple of things that you have to make sure of is because everybody likes to pit together. So when that happens, and here you go.
Here they come, John.
And what we were going to say is that is nice and wide, and then it narrows up right there as people are locking them up trying to get in. So as you can see now, you've got 7 trucks coming down, and that is going to be Greg, Stephen Hines, Frank, Cole Larson, JD Larson, Trevor, and Terry all going to come down, and that is going to turn this over to Kinsley and Honeycutt, along with Kirby Wainscott's going to be there, Andrew Teft in that group, Dale's in that group, Alex Gates, who was leading earlier in this group. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Entry to the pits, exit. Everybody make sure that you have your tires unchecked so that you don't get left behind.
Yeah, it took a pit stop to happen, but the 13 and the 15 have finally found each other. So now these guys have really got to watch themselves because these 2 trucks teaming up, they're quite the force to be reckoned with.
And here they come. Now they're going to enter side by side as everybody starts to figure themselves out. You do still have the 77 and 98 beside of each other. They'll get that figured out here soon, as you're going to have these 2 very distinct groups. They might wrap themselves back up. Truth Hoke, really late entry, or is he coming on out? No, he has not went in the pitch yet, so really late entry for Truth. Kinsley Smith's going to be your first one in this group out, followed by Kirby Wainscott. Brandon Honeycutt's going to beat them all out. He's going to be your leader coming out of this line, and their 77 truck is going to be behind, and Truth Hoke is going to be behind. So what they did not want is, I believe, is what's going to happen for those 2 drivers.
Yeah, they're gonna be losing the rest of those trucks, and that's going to cost them the draft, and it's going to hurt them in the long run on this green flag run, Joe.
All right, so as we shape this back up, Russ, you can see these 4 trucks here are going to come out 5 if you count the 6 behind. They are going to have a full head of steam, and Andrew Teft is here. So it does look like all of these drivers are going to be right back into this one large pack. Andrew just
that time
a little
it worked out pretty well.
Yep.
I say that time it worked out pretty well. These guys may not be quite as. I mean, maybe Truth Hoke is going to be in trouble, but Andrew Teft might be able to latch onto the back end of these 4 trucks here, and he might be all right.
Yeah, I think Andrew is going to be okay. I do believe Kirby Wainscott will be fine, as these 5 trucks now are going to push Kirby back up to that. Now you're going to look at, just like we thought, unfortunately, Alex, I believe this 18 truck of Larson, something must have happened in that first round of pits, because that's one of the trucks that was there. The 50 truck of Fennel, he's going to be back here. So we've got a 3-truck pack. It's about 9 seconds off of that main pack. Truth's back there with them.
Yeah, they're well, we seen this last week too. There was a 3 or a 4 pack, truck pack, and they were able to hold their own, and so we'll have to see if they can do it again here. But maybe they're just a little bit too far back this time.
It does look that way, and it looks like this 6 truck is going to find himself in trouble now. I know that pedal is down. He's getting it for everything he's worth, but he's just 2 seconds back. He's out of that draft. He's going to have to fall back to this other pack that's now 9.6 seconds. So as you can see on the timing tower, you're going to start to see really the fall off if these other two cannot get themselves together. Let's go back to the 77 truck. They are nice and tight here, Russ, so if they can get it together, they could try to track that front pack down.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time. You know, there's 32 laps left, and you know, I'm sure we're probably not done with seeing a flag of a certain color, but you know, anything's possible at these restrictor plate tracks. You know, you and I know this all too well, John.
Yeah, so it does look like these 4 trucks are going to become 5 once they run down that 6 of Trevor, who is out there in no man's land. Unfortunately, losing the draft of that front pack. He will be able to pick them up, but that is only going to be 5 trucks. And this front pack has lined themselves out nose to tail. As I say that, now the 9, Adele, is going to peek out, and he's going to have some company coming. So if they stay up here fighting 2 by 2, that backpack that gets organized might be able to track them back down.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Like I said, we've seen that last week. You know, they had a 3-4 car pack back there, and I think they were able to gain, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 seconds on that front pack just because they were able to stay just a little bit more organized than what that front pack did. But they were able to, gain just a little bit of time on them.
Now, here is a driver that is in just a little bit of trouble. I'm sure that he has the pedal down as well, because you can see he's about 0.3 of a second. You don't want to get to 0.5. You get to half a second back, and it does look like he's going to be able to keep up with this front pack. You just don't want to lose any of these packs. If you do that, you're just stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you lose that draft. I mean, it bogs you down 20 plus miles an hour versus what you can run inside that pack, and it's so disheartening when all of a sudden you just start seeing everybody leaving farther and farther away.
yeah, that is a pretty sickening feeling.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do about it except accept your fate and hope that next pack picks you up.
Yeah, you start looking at your relative really quickly, looking at the others that are going to be behind. So as we stand right now, Russ, as they have picked up this 5th truck, the 6th truck, as we thought that they would, and we're going to keep an eye on, because they are now 14 seconds behind, and you can just see that gap just starting to grow and grow and grow, as this 5 trucks is just not going to be any match for these guys. Now, again, they are still running side by side, so that's certainly going to help them, but you can see they're losing probably a second a lap at this point.
Yeah, the time just keeps ticking and ticking and ticking and ticking. It's over 15 seconds now. It's going to be tough for them to catch back up. They're going to need to see a flag of a certain color, I think, John.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do believe that the 12 and the 84 need to choke up just a little bit, because they might be in slight danger. And you can tell you've got the 13 and the 15 truck together. They are going to push and push and push and keep this pace up to put a lot of pressure on these drivers that are wanting to kind of hang out and save a little bit of fuel. As you look now, the 84 truck of Frank, see, he's in that 0.3 range. So he's kind of in the danger zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at one point, you could ask your teammate, hey, why don't you just drag that brake a little bit and come back here and pick me up? But at the same time, you're putting your teammate in danger by doing that, because you get them too far out of the draft. Now it's just the two of you running solo bite with each other.
Yeah, you can see he was able to get back, and like you said, it looks like the 12, his teammate was able to pick him up just a little bit and get both of those trucks back up to this pack. So crisis averted for them, but we just saw when we checked in on them, about 14 seconds behind that second pack is now 18.3 seconds. So they are losing a ton of time to this front pack.
Yeah, just not enough momentum with them guys to keep up with this pack. I mean, you can see there on the scoring tower how fast that time is increasing up to 19 seconds now. It's just too much. They definitely need some help.
Oh, as we got a truck down here on the bottom.
Kensley Smith?
Kinsley
It is Kinsley
Smith.
Smith.
Let's
Did
go
he blow
back.
it up?
He might. I believe he was out front. Did he get a hard push? It looks like he might have got a hard push and got loose.
Oh, he blew it up. I saw smoke.
He did.
Blew it up
He
from
blew
pushing
that
Brandon
truck
Honeycutt.
up. We talked about that earlier in this broadcast. Let's see if we can go on board. And that truck must have been hot. Let's see if we can go into the cockpit and listen. He blew it up.
Yeah, you know, I was wondering because I kept seeing Brandon on like the back straightaway. He would dip below the yellow line, like he was trying to give Kinsley some fresh air back there, where Kinsley couldn't quite move into a different lane to get that fresh air. So it looked like Brandon was kind of ducking down there, kind of half onto the apron to help Kinsley get a little bit of air. He was probably telling him, "Hey man, I'm getting hot," and then the bottom end finally blew out of that thing, man.
Yeah, it happens so quickly too, and I can tell you when you have a certain FOV, it's really hard to see the dashes on some of these cars too. So, you really need to have some warning lights that are going to flash for you and really help you out and tell you when you're in the danger zone. But that is effectively going to put Kinsley Smith as he's going to go into the pits, and he might just stay there, Russ, because I don't know if there's any coming back from that. We're 45 laps in on this race, and I just don't think he can come back. But as we reset that now, that's going to put Andrew Teft to the front, followed behind McConey in second in that 12 truck. Brandon Honeycutt is going to be in third.
Yeah, I think, as we were talking about with Kinsley, I'm pretty sure he used up that fast repair in that first incident that he was involved in. So you blow that engine, that's about 30 to 45 minutes of repairs, and probably not enough time not even worth it to get back out here at this point. So
no, that's a great point. I forgot about him having to use that fast repair early on in that wreck on lap 9. So yeah, that certainly is going to end Kinsley's night. That's a shame. It looked like they were really moving, putting a lot of pace on. As you can see now, as we went all the way through that, it went from 18 seconds now to 21. But as you can see, it looks like it's almost stabilized a little bit as one, we lost one truck out of this pack, and two, you lost somebody that was really pushing that 13 car forward or 13 truck forward.
Yeah, that time gap is still increasing just a little bit, but not quite as much as it was. It's definitely slowed down. So it looks like maybe that second pack is stabilized quite a bit.
Yeah,
they're good enough to at least stabilize themselves.
Let's see if we can go back and take a peek in on this. This second pack now 21.12 seconds. So they're just losing hundredths a lap now instead of tenths and seconds. So they have been able to stabilize this just a little bit. Now this is going to require a caution to even come close to being back into this race for these drivers. And you can tell, you have Truth Hoke here in the 13th position. He is a lap down. He is in this pack as well. So they're going to need a caution here, Russ, to be able to catch up.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, with Truth Hoke, being the one lap down, that 10 truck is up there in that lead pack. He's also a lap down, but him being up there in that lead pack definitely doesn't help Truth with that lucky dog, because there's no way that second pack, without the help of a caution, is going to come back to this front pack.
I agree. Well, if we blow another couple of engines, we might see that change. But as it stands right now, this pack's still 2x2. You've got 3 trucks on the outside line. That is going to be the 9 of Dell, that 2 truck of Hines, and the 33 truck of Larson on the outside. Andrew Teff still leading that inside line with Honeycutt and Kirby Wainscott right behind him. And then again, you've got the 2 Trash Panda trucks back there in the back that, again, as we play this little game, are getting dangerous, as they're now 0.4 tenths back from this front pack.
Yeah, they're falling back just a little bit, but it could also be that they're seeing what these guys are doing, and they may have seen something that they didn't like, but they don't want to fall too far back, because then that puts them in danger of not even being able to compete come the end of this thing.
Yeah, you do not want to be stuck out even two trucks out there in the middle of nowhere. As it looks like they are now choking right back up to now at 2/10 of a second behind. So they're able to kind of manage that gap and keep
Yep.
themselves safe if there were to be a wreck or an accident, safe-ish, and be back there just kind of riding around. But it does look like with 22 to go, it won't be long before we're talking about pit stops once again. So 25 laps, it looked like they went the last time, Russ, when they come down to pit. So we're not that far away. We are in the window where they're going to be able to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this run's currently about 15, 16 laps in. So maybe anytime within the next 10, you might start seeing guys coming down for a splash and go. Absolutely do not take tires on this stop. It's literally a splash and go, give you enough fuel to get across that line.
That is going to be the key, is just enough fuel. So you do want to run these tanks as dry as you possibly can, because that is only going to shorten your pit road time. Coming in early at Dega or at Daytona, even at Atlanta in the trucks, is not going to do you any good, because you don't really need the tires. You're not going to run quicker lap times. So you want the least amount of pit road time as you possibly can get.
Absolutely.
Now you look at this, Russ, we were at above 21 seconds for that backpack. Again, it has really stabilized. So that second pack running the same similar lap times that this front pack is, just not able to cut into it at all.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, two laps ago, the gap was literally right about the same, like, you know, 21.15 to 2.0. So they've really been able to maintain this gap.
Woo, 33 truck getting aggressive, shooting right down in front of Andrew here, is now going to come up and try to take it. We've seen some pretty aggressive moves from that 33 truck most of this night, so he is not afraid. That driver's not afraid to put that truck anywhere he needs to get the job done.
You know, I'm looking at the relative right now, and I see that he's a 3.6K I rating, so he obviously knows that he has the capabilities to do whatever he wants to do with his, you know, with his truck. So not a surprise to see him make some bold moves.
Yeah, and we're looking at 19 to go. We're going to be 18 to go when we cross the start-finish line this time by. So we are in the window for fuel. This is going to come down to, do you find another partner? That 15 truck blowing his engine up. So now Honeycutt going to have to find somebody else to be in draft with. Andrew's there with Kirby Wainscott, the fourth truck in line, even though he's still a lap down. The 12 and 84 is still sitting back and waiting. So you still have a lot of decisions, a lot of conversations to make as you get prepared for this last pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure that you know, you're listening to team communications and trying to figure out, you know, when other people are planning on pitting, and you know, again, you know, you want to make sure you're coming with them, because if you get left out, your chances at this late in the race are they're done.
As you can see, the 12 and 84 kind of hiding back there just a little bit as well. I believe they might have seen that engine blow up on that 15 truck and said, you know, let's just see if we can get ourselves close and keep ourselves close enough to keep clean air on the nose, but to not put these two trucks in danger, as they are just staying just close enough to keep in this draft.
Yeah, seeing somebody expire an engine will definitely put a driver in a different mindset out there. So it's not a surprise that we're starting to see just a little bit more of backing off and paying more attention to the temperatures.
Yeah, absolutely. As this front pack just settling in just a little bit, I want to move back and just give a little bit of airtime here to this 18 truck leading this second pack. Truth Hoax still in line as the second truck in line for this pack. 77 truck there, the 6 truck, as well as your last truck that's in this of the 50. So these trucks have really stayed disciplined, stayed in a good straight line. Just again, it's just a truck number, I think, Russ, here. They just do not have the numbers to push themselves up closer to that front pack.
I mean, it's 5 against 8, and you know, the numbers never lie, John. They're obviously, you know, they don't have quite the number in that pack that they need to gain any kind of ground. I mean, we see that gap now back up or up over 22 seconds now. You know, I mean, it took about 5 or 6 laps for them to lose a full another second, so they're not losing quite as much as fast, but they're still slowly losing ground on this front pack.
Yeah, like we said before, it is going to be caution or nothing, unfortunately, for them. And I don't see this pack really doing anything crazy to threaten them. You know, if you're the truck in this pack, you just want to be safe, secure, get yourself to this pit stop, because what you do not want is you want all of those trucks behind, those 5 other trucks getting in the mix here, because that's just 5 other trucks that you've got to fight with. So you want to make sure that this pack stays nice and clean. That 2 truck might not be taking my advice, as he's going to go right through the apex of that turn and just get on the back of that 9 and push him forward.
Yeah, there was no holding back there. He wasn't worrying about his oil temp at that point. He was just like, we're gonna go and we're gonna go now.
Yeah, he was not worried about that. As now you've got to think at 15 to go. We're coming to the stripe at 14. Now it's time to start talking. Should we short pit? Should we kind of take a lap and get in early to get ourselves separated from a couple of these other trucks to make this a 2 or 3 truck battle come into the checkered flag instead of an 8 truck battle?
Yeah, you saw the 9 and the 2 kind of fall off there after that corner exit after the 2 truck gave the shot to the 9, and so they kind of fell back. Then they got in line. So now everybody's in a nice straight line, and I'm anticipating pit stops here anytime, probably within the next 3 to 5 laps, I would guess, and see how the end of this shakes out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is why you're seeing these trucks get nose to tail in the same line. They are no longer 2 by 2, and that is to get themselves prepared for pit stops here at any moment. So we're just going to stick with this pack, and this is going to be for all the marbles. If you can get down on pit road and you can get yourself a half a second, a second lead on some of these other drivers, you come out, then certainly you and that other person you're drafting with have a much better shot of being the only 2, 3, 4 trucks to take that white flag. So that is going to be the most important thing, is your entry to pit road. I would say we are going to see almost all of these trucks locking up, smoking the tires, trying to get every millisecond that they can.
Yeah, I have a gut feeling that we're going to see guys coming down this lap here. I mean, we're closing in on 10 to go. They're 23 laps on this run. You know, within this lap or the next lap, I'm gonna say we're gonna start seeing trucks coming down pit road.
Yeah, you definitely have some drivers that decided to make a strong move around this 33 truck. And there you go.
And here they come. 2 of them, 3 of them, 4, 5 of them now.
5 are going to come in, 3 are going to stay out, and this is going to get really narrow. They're
Nice
really hard
on
on the binders. That was a great race. They're still drag racing.
Right now is your one opportunity to make up some ground on pit road before coming back out. So you know, you take them where you can get them.
Oh no, the 33 truck rolling through his pit stop. Russ, that is going to put him behind, as we're now going to watch the exit of this. Unfortunately, that 33 truck has hurt. Oh, and he was able to come out. Must have been saving a lot of fuel.
Yeah, he must not have had to take as much as everybody else did, but I mean, that kind of worked out in his favor. I mean, either that or he just said, look, I can't sit here. I got to go, so I'm going to go. Because we see the leaders now ducking down to come down pit road.
Andrew Teff with a really nice entry. Brandon Honeycutt just a little behind. Kirby putting on a great pit road entry as well. So now the question is going to be, are they going to come back out in one big pack, or are you going to have a pack of 5 versus a pack of 3? If the pack of 3 are out in front of this 5, not so bad. They can fight them off. If it's the other way around, you're never going to catch that pack that pit the lap earlier.
Yeah, and what's really going to be interesting is after that first pack came in, that second pack that was 21 seconds behind, they also came down that same lap. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any way that those 2 groups can get together, maybe hang this third group out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll tell you, this group that came into pit, those 5, it looks like they've got 2 sets of 2. That is going to slow them down. They're about 4 seconds behind Honeycutt and Teft. And it does look like Wayne Scott was able to come out with them. So this is going to be extremely close now, 2 seconds. By the time they get up to speed, I believe you can see the 9 and the 33 and the 84. I do believe that that pack of 4 is going to be able to catch them, but it is 3 against 4. And if these guys can get sorted together, I don't believe they can here, Russ. I do believe that you're just not going to be able to get up to speed fast enough to get away from that pack behind them.
Yeah, they're moving. They're coming. It's going to be the question of if they just going to go out and around them and leave them, or they're going to tuck in and ride this out for about another 8 laps. Looks like they're going out or going around them.
I think you see your answer here is that 9 truck not wasting any time, taking the full momentum of the 3 trucks pushing him, and they are going to push him right to the lead. Now, I will tell you, as we watched, this 2 truck has unfortunately got himself out here in the middle of nowhere. So again, this is the wasteland, unfortunately, that Hines is in now, and he is watching those leaders slowly go away, and he is going to see this pack behind him slowly start to catch him.
Yeah, that 4-lane or that 4-truck pack didn't really blow away from Brandon Honeycutt and Andrew Teff.
No,
they're battling right there.
Yeah, they were able to tuck in line a little bit. It's the 77 that had to go around the 77 machine. The 33 was able to move himself down. The 9 truck now getting stuck out. I do believe the 77 is going to be able to catch back up to this front pack and be able to play a role in this as we come up to 8 to go when we cross the start-finish line.
I think these guys are just going to kind of ride this out until about maybe 2 to go. Watch them make a liar out of me. But, you know, if it were me, I would kind of ride it out about 2 to go, and then we're going to start seeing the moves being made. And like I said, they're going to make a fool out of me, and they're going to go 2, sometime maybe even 3 wide here.
It does look like the 84 and the 12 are going to make the decision to start to mix it up. They kind of rode back on that front pack, about 3 to 4 tenths off the majority of that second stint, but now's the time to go. You can see them start to mix it up a little bit. Hines is about 21 seconds back in that 2 truck. Now it looks like it's about 8 seconds in front of that second pack. That second pack only down. They might be down to 3 trucks now.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
So we're going to go back and take a look. And it actually looks like there are only 2 trucks. Terry's going to be even further back, about 4.5 seconds. So that second pack really broken up now.
Yeah. Unless a caution comes out here, you know, the battle is going to be up here in this lead pack.
Oh, 84 truck deciding to go down and leave his partner out to dry on that top line. The 33 is going to make contact with the 84 in the middle of the turn. So we are starting to get a little bit chippier, a little bit less throttle off, a little bit more throttle on. And you're going to start to see some pretty crazy moves as these drivers, especially these front 3 here, have not run together in the Racers Elite special events that I have seen, Russ. So I think we're setting ourselves up for some fireworks.
Yeah, we're coming to 6 to go, and maybe some of these guys are saying, hey, it's time to start making some moves now and see what we can and can't do. I mean, 6 laps is still, a decent amount to figure out what your truck has, who your friends are, and if you have that capability of making possibly a last lap move for the win here.
The 50 truck now falling back into the clutches of this front group. He will probably tag onto the back end of that, which is going to just make this front group even stronger. So you see the 77 in the middle of this pack, along with Kirby Wainscott. It's been a lap down, but been with this pack almost the entire second stint and this part of this stint. So it does look like the 50 is probably going to fall off of the pace and not be able to keep up.
Yeah, I think he's already lost that draft, John, and now he's just kind of going to ride it out.
84 truck, Frank crossing the start-finish line. We have 5 to go on the board right now. Larson is going to be in second, Honeycutt in third, Teft Andrew Teft is going to be in fourth. Kirby Wainscott is going to be behind him, but he is not in fifth. That's going to be that 12 machine with the 9 truck behind him. As now you start to see some moves. The 33, 13, and Andrew is going to try to drive right by this 84 truck. Is Truth Hoke now getting lapped again?
I think the 33 saw that the 55 was rapidly approaching, and he thought, hey, maybe this is a shot to maybe stick somebody behind that lap truck or take advantage of that little bit of a speed difference there.
Oh, Andrew Teft leaving the 13 is going to come down, shut the door on the 33, get that push, put Andrew back out to the lead. No, it looks like Honeycutt's going to take that. We have 4 to go.
These guys are starting to dance around already. We got 4 laps to go, and this is shaping up to be an exciting finish.
As we set it up for you all, folks, you've got Honeycutt on the outside. You got the 12 truck behind him. Andrew Teft on the low side, 33 behind him. We've got some lap traffic in the 77 and the 10 at the back end of this pack. Truth Hoke now is going to be able to catch that draft and get into that line. The 50 truck slowly sliding back behind there, but we are going to come 3 to go here at Talladega Saturday night special event time. We've got a late one for you, but it looks like it is going to be a good one.
Yeah, these guys are dancing around, going high, going low, trying to figure out what they got. These laps are winding down. It's time to start making moves now, John.
Looks like Andrew Teft getting some pushes that's put that truck in awkward spots, is now having to drift up just a little bit. 33 still right on his bumper. Unfortunately, Honeycutt, that 12 truck just a little bit off of Honeycutt's bumper. Now the 33 making a move to the outside.
12 truck 98 alone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, he certainly did. And then the 12 truck looked like he had a great run on Honeycutt. Now is going to kind of get mired back there. Truth Hoke now going to come up and join that outside line. So now we are going to go 3 wide as we are going to come to the line for 2 to go. Inside of this pack is 6 cars, 6 trucks, Russ, that are on the lead lap. The others are laps down. They are in the back. That's the 10, the 77, and the 55, but they are helping each one of these lines. Andrew down at the bottom. In the middle is the 33 truck, the 12 of Greg on the outside. 3 by we come down this backstretch, getting ready to take the white flag.
Oh, blanket under them, John. They're that close. Are they going to make it back to the white flag?
I do believe they are. It looks like Andrew Teft is that bottom line starting to slow down just a little bit. He's going to have a stronger turn. 33 is going to come down the block. That's going to leave Honeycutt in that middle line with only the 77 truck to help him.
Under the white flag for the trial.
This is what it's all about. We are not here to fight for points. Oh, and the 12 truck going to get hard into the wall. Bad push by the 9. Going to put the 12 truck. He is out of commission. That's going to leave these 2 lines, 33, the 13, beside of each other. Andrew Teft, what's he going to do? Running third on this field. 77 truck again, a lap down, but the 84 right behind his partner, the 12, into the wall hard on the front stretch.
The 13 and the 77 trying to make something happen, but I think the 33, 98, and 84, they're going to have, as we see Andrew jump, they're moving up.
Big block from the 33 truck again. This is a long day. Now the 9 truck trying to go 3 wide. Andrew making a move down at the bottom. He does not have a pushing partner. Honeycutt trying to go to the outside. We are going to come up. Andrew Teft with a great push. He's going to come across, and look at this. Andrew Teft is going to come across the line. Your winner, Honeycutt, at a 0-0-0 gap.
0-0. Wow. What a finish, John.
Holy, Andrew Teft going to come home your winner here at Talladega. Listen, you might want to wait for and we're going to play this through. And we are going to see just how close that actually is. Let's see if we can back it up.
0-0-8. 0-0-8.
Wow. Just absolutely incredible race. Let's get this shot.
I think this is the second time that we've called a plate race for Races Elite where the gap between first and second has been 0-0.
I mean, what a fantastic way to end this race. Just I mean, so
Can't even
close.
pause it fast enough.
I can't.
You
It's
can't even
so
pause it
close.
fast.
I can't even get it on our pause. Just fantastic job by these drivers. Andrew Teft coming home your winner. Let's see if we can get the final grid up and see if we can show you your final grid. Andrew Teff coming home your winner. Brandon Honeycutt right behind .008, crossing that start finish line. Third is Dell in that 9 truck with some fantastic moves late. Cole Larson in fourth. Frank's going to be fifth. Sixth, unfortunately, Greg getting put in the wall with 1 to go, or coming to the white flag, is going to come in sixth. Trevor in seventh. Stephen Hines is going to be eighth. JD Larson ninth. Alex Gates in 10th. And then let's go right on through there, Russ.
Yeah, so Kirby Wayne Scott's going to come home P11. Terry Fennell P12. Truth Hope, he had a couple of issues coming home P13, and then Kensley Smith, obviously expiring that engine earlier on in the race, is going to come home in 14th.
What a fantastic race. Listen, you might think that there's not fireworks, but there is always fireworks that goes on here at Racers Elite Network. And this one certainly did not disappoint as well. So let's see if we can get some of our drivers up in the booth.
I don't see anybody waiting yet.
All right, they might be taking a little bit of a breather and having a little break before they want their interview done. But I got to tell you, that's one of the closer ones. I mean, Andrew getting a big block put on him by the 33 truck. They go all the way to the outside. It looked like Andrew might have turned a little right and then come back down left. The 33 truck with nowhere to go there. Andrew getting a fantastic push to the line. Brandon Honeycutt deciding to take that thing 3 wide before the tri-oval, and what a race to the stripe.
Yeah, that was insane. Like I said, I think this is the second time that we've called the plate race for Racers Elite, and the gap between first and second was 0-0. It's absolutely insane. It doesn't matter if there's 14 trucks, if there's 10 trucks, or if there's 40 trucks. These guys figure out a way to make make the finish really exciting every time.
That was absolutely insane. So does look like that we have Mr. Teff. So we are going to have a quick conversation with our race winner. So I'm just going to pull him up here into the booth. So Andrew, John, and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Wow. Well, I know you had to take a little bit of a breather after that, but man, fantastic job. Especially, I want to go right to the end as we ask you some questions about this. But looked like you had a really strong run. You had an outside run on the 33 truck. It looked like he threw kind of a 3/4 pretty solid block, and it almost looked like you faked him a little bit high and then come right back down and got a great push toward the end. So that's what we seen in the booth. Tell us how it went for you in the truck.
Yeah, I was trying to push him far enough out so I could get to the high side in front of Honeycutt, because Honeycutt can push really well, and I was able to do it. And then he came up in front of me, and I wasn't sure if I'd have enough for another run back to the checkered, but Dale came out of nowhere there and gave me a heck of a shot, so I got to thank him. And I wasn't sure if I got it at the line, because I could hear, I think, Honeycutt to my outside in my headset. His engine sounded pretty close, so I wasn't sure, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to thank everybody for racing clean there.
Yeah, and we will tell you, we tried to capture it on the start finish line. It was so close between you and Brandon. We actually could not capture it, but it was .008 as the difference. So fantastic job. Way to come home the winner here on a late one on Saturday night. Andrew, congratulations, and we'll let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. If anybody's interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. And I want to thank our servicemen and women, my family, and my team, and everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race. Also want to give a shout out to Amar for the Christmas present paint scheme that he gave me. It's too bad the Bills couldn't get themselves into the Super Bowl, but we got the truck into victory lane tonight, so hopefully that helps.
Yes, you did. Fantastic move at the end.
That's what I was gonna say was I really like that paint, and it kind of somewhat avenged the Bills' tough loss this past weekend. So good job, Andrew.
Yeah, look them up on Facebook if anybody's interested. It's AMR Paintworks. You can find them on Facebook, or just head on over to our website and you can find a link at the bottom of our homepage.
You've got it, Andrew. Fantastic win. Way to get it done right at the end. Just a great job. So thank you very much, and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, there is your winner, Andrew Teft, bringing it home tonight, Russ. I'll tell you, that was one of the better finishes. Fantastic move at the end, and I will tell you, outside of the 12 truck getting hard into the outside wall, coming to the white flag, we didn't have any trucks up on their top crossing the start-finish line tonight.
Oh, which is kind of unusual for a Talladega race, but that's also a testament to these drivers, and their skill level is top notch. Like I said, I've watched a lot of really good close races with these guys, and like I said, it's just a testament to their skill in the sim.
Well, that is going to do it for tonight, Saturday night. Talladega special event, and what more could you want? Difference of 0.008 between your first and second place truck drivers. So again, just like Andrew said there in the interview, if you are interested in coming out and running with us, you can do that on our website, which is racerselite.com. You can find us on Facebook, Racers Elite Facebook page, and you can also follow us on YouTube and Twitch with Racers Elite Network. Russ, it was a fantastic job. I'm certain that we will do a couple of more of these in the weeks to come. Man, it was a late one, but it was a great one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little bit of a later start than usual, but the time change obviously did not deter any of these guys from coming out here and putting on a show. And I look forward to doing more of these and covering more of these races for Racers Elite moving forward. And yeah.
Well, that is it for us on Saturday night. Folks, my name is John Ross. That is Russ Martin. We are in the booth as often as we can, so make sure that you come out and see us. We'll see you next time.
Well, good night, everyone.